Hi folks, welcome to 6 Minutes of Witchcraft with me, Laura Tempest Zakroff. For the moment here we have a Max, and this lovely lump here is Simon. And what I want to talk about today is the concept of the veils. Now, I recently did a ritual workout where I introduced working with physical veils, and I kind of touched on there's a lot more to talk about. I'll save it for 6 minutes. So here we are for that, and I will link that ritual workout in the notes below, so if you haven't seen it, you can check that out. And I'm also going to set my alarm. Boom. All right. So you probably have heard of the concept that right now, as here in the Northern Hemisphere, we are working our way towards Samhain, or in the Samhain season, and that you hear that the veils are thinning, or the veils are lifting, some sort of variation of that. You might be like, what the hell does that mean? And some people take it very literally, like as if there is a curtain that the gods, the guardians, etc. lift, and they're like, okay, everybody who's deceased, now flow on through. Let all the spirits and other creatures, become closer. And it's kind of funny, but a few things to think about. One, while we are moving into Samhain here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's Beltane in the Southern Hemisphere. So it's just like you get to the equator and that's it, right? Think about it logically. Though you could also say that between both Beltane and Samhain, that these are very spirit heavy times, right? The idea that at Beltane there's a concept of the lands becoming fertile, that things are waking up. Though, if you've been watching or reading my work for a while, then you know that Beltane is a little late for some folks for the lands to be waking up or for fertility to be happening. So what does this all mean? Well, the most important thing is that the veils are a metaphor, right, for this awareness of the spirits, of the weird. And for those of you who are actively practicing, kind of tapping into working with ancestors, with spirits of place, with all these different things, you might not really notice that much of an uptick in spirit activity. But for other folks, here are the things to keep in mind. Now, it's a little different this year in 2020 with the pandemic, and you might have seen articles going around that people are more noticing ghostly activities, and they have been since the pandemic's happened because they're at home. A lot of reasons and thoughts on that. But think about it in a normal year, is that generally for the good times of year where the weather's nice, we're out of our spaces, we're out doing our things, we're very active. And then when we're home, we're tired and we're sleeping. And as the days get colder and shorter, right, we are spending more and more time inside. Not only that, but we are also psychologically picking up on the idea that things are dying around us. Like the leaves are changing, especially here in New England, and that, the garden has done its thing. And we start to think about mortality, and that helps us, or actually guides us to think about, when we think about our own mortality, we think about those who have passed and how they've been remembered, and then in that when we remember them, hopefully down the line, we are also remembered. So there's this whole cycle of it, right? So is it really that there's an uptick in spiritual activity and that ghosts and the things are really that much closer? Or is that the veil in our own minds has been lifted, that we are suddenly a little bit more aware of the things that we just haven't been paying attention to? And I think that's really what it is. Now, I do as a dancer, I love the metaphor of veils, right? Of these thin layers. I love the use for trance. They are really wonderful tools that we'll continue to work with the ritual workout. Metaphors are great. It gives our brain something to think about, to picture that. So if it does help you feel like, yes, it's getting a little closer and I'm a little bit more aware of it, great. I'm not going to knock that being important to you. But I think it is important that we don't get hung up on that there has to be this sort of physical context, that some sort of doors to the underworld are really opening. I mean, it's great for fiction, but not, while many different spiritual activities focusing around the dead do happen this time of year, it's not all cultures, right? Oban, for example, in Japan tends to happen over the summer. There are other festivities that happen, for celebrating ancestors that aren't always at the same time of year. So climate has a lot to do with it. So many different factors. So keep that in mind. It's not necessarily a universal or monolithic concept. And this cat here is extra sweet. Oh my gosh, so sweet. So I'm going to back it up. Keep in mind, metaphor, it's a concept, it's a way of perceiving the world around you, but when you tap into that world a little bit more, when you become actively conscious of it on a day-to-day basis, then you realize that those opportunities are there for you all year round. It's part of life. And I think that's a crucial thing that we should continue to, as a society, understand that birth and death are vital parts. They shouldn't be sanitized and sent outside of the home. That remembering where we have come as well as where we're going is crucial to our practice. It's crucial to witchcraft. So I have wrapped it up, and 6 minutes has not gone off yet, has it? Ha! I win. 3 seconds. So if you have any questions about that, put it in the comments below. I hope this sort of enlightened a little bit about it. Now, I'm sure you can go into poetry and stories and different origins of that, but I just really want to talk about the practicality of it and how that affects you. So I hope this has been fun for you. I'm sure it's been fun for the cats. And I hope you have a wonderful Samhain or Beltane wherever you are at. All right, talk to you later. Bye.